I don't involve myself in controversial topics when it comes to speed cubing. This is not a controversial topic. This is evil, and it's very obvious what needs to happen here, at least to me. For those of you who are unaware, there is a pyramixer from Georgia named Alex Bohac. He is currently in jail awaiting trial for 17 counts of child sex crimes. Before I say anything else, I want to give this message to anyone who needs to hear it. If you are uncomfortable at a WCA competition, if someone is making you or someone else uncomfortable, tell a delegate or a staff member immediately. They will take care of it. Not even at a WCA competition, in general. If you can tell that someone is uncomfortable by someone else's presence, or if you are uncomfortable with someone else's presence, tell someone who can do something about it. Please. I'm a professional speedcuber from Kentucky, and this means that I attend competitions in the Great Lakes region, which is up north, and then the Southeast region, where Alex would compete. And of course, because I competed in the Southeast and he competed in the Southeast, we would be at competitions together. To be completely honest, I always thought Alex was a little bit of a douchebag. He presented himself in a way that smelled like arrogance to me. And everyone else thought that he was a cool guy. And so I kept my opinion to myself. I can now confidently say that I was right, but it doesn't feel good to be right about this. I had only interacted with Alex at 2 competitions, NAC 24, and then a local competition in Tennessee about a month and a half after. I only really have 2 memories of our interactions, and both of those are from the local competition. He was watching me and Caleb Chen do 3x3 finals while sitting right next to my father in the audience. And the other memory comes from immediately after finals, when he tried and ultimately failed to invite himself to plans that I had after the competition. That was the last time that I spoke to Alex. I've come to learn in the past 24 hours, as well as everyone else in this community, that Alex was not the chill guy that everyone thought that he was. He's had several incidents, none of them as major as 17 counts of sex crimes with a child, but he's had several other incidents with other members of the community who I do consider to be my friends. He has ruined the friendships that he had with people by trying to coerce them into doing something that they didn't want to do. Just as we saw in what's going on right now. And the details of the actual legal case are very scarce. But this is what we know so far. He's being accused of child sexual exploitation for 16 counts and grooming. 1 count of grooming. So that's a total of 17 counts. All of those charges are felony charges, and a felony is 20 years in prison. This means if the incident just happened in Georgia, he would be serving 340 years in prison. However, he was interacting with a 14-year-old girl from Texas through Snapchat. This crosses state lines and makes his sentence even larger. Eventually, this 14-year-old child sent him sexually explicit pictures. Alex wanted more and couldn't take no for an answer. He threatened to send the pictures in his possession to her classmates and her teacher. And he followed through. He sent the nude pictures of a 14-year-old girl to 3 of her classmates and 1 of her teachers. Outside of these charges, Alex was obsessed with a woman who showed up to our mutual competitions. I have been told by this woman, who would like to remain anonymous at this time, that he would stalk her at her house after he found out her address, pretend that he was friends with her little brother to get closer to her family, and he would send death threats to anybody who interacted with her at a competition because he believed that she was his. She told me that this behavior was reported to Southeast delegates and no action was taken. The delegates have since told me that they had little to no knowledge of what was happening behind the scenes. But either way, she claims that she had to stop attending her little brother's competitions because she believed her safety was at risk. The details that were revealed to me by this woman have been backed up by information that Alex told one of his friends at Worlds. He was bragging about this bullshit to his friends. I would like to say everything that I just said is the confidential testimony of one person who was affected by Alex and his actions. Nothing about this situation, including Alex's guilt, legal guilt, is confirmed yet. To be frank, I would be shocked if he survived prison for over a year, which is a darker thought on its own. This guy, who many of us interacted with regularly, is going to be murdered in prison because he's a pedophile. Prisoners don't like pedophiles. But again, this is all legally alleged. He has not stood trial yet, and he is legally innocent until proven guilty. In my opinion, the authorities' search and investigation for 2 weeks prior to his arrest and him being denied bond, along with all of their statements that are as specific as the information that we have, that's more than enough to convince me that there is at least some truth to what happened. This is not the first example of pedophilia allegations against a prominent figure in speed queuing before. Rumen Yan, or QBrute on YouTube, has had several WeChat screenshots leaked of him having conversations with lots of parallels to the things that Alex has been accused of. Neither of these incidents happened at WCA competitions. And as a result, minimal action can be taken by the WCA. I fully and wholeheartedly believe that this needs to change. I want to preface my opinion by stating that I love and I am forever indebted to the WCA. They have given me the best memories of my entire life. They have led directly to my dream career, to me ending up with the woman of my dreams, and some of the best friends I've ever met in my entire life. I would also like to say that Alex completely hamstringed everybody as soon as this pedophilia stuff came out. Nobody, including WCA officials and the Southeast delegates, had an ounce of a clue. Alex's best friends had no idea what he was doing with this 14-year-old from Texas. Finally, this information was just revealed, just over 24 hours before I posted this video. I know that the WCA is currently working on the Alex situation. There have been several official members who have reached out to me and told me this. All of this being said, there is no reason under any circumstances that either of these people should be allowed to step foot in a WCA competition ever again. The WCA needs an investigative team that can do their own research when situations like this unfortunately arise. I am also aware that regular access to the names of people who are banned from the WCA isn't available for the general population. And there is definitely some validity to this. If a stupid kid cheats a couple times and gets banned for 6 months because of it, they shouldn't be publicly shamed for that. However, when this same logic is applied to people who are banned for very good reasons, such as sexual misconduct, especially against children who make up the vast majority of the population of our sport, it's no longer about little Timmy who twisted his last two corners and protecting him from getting bullied for being banned for that. It is now about sweeping the wrongdoing of the banned individual under the rug. That is what it seems like. The issue with having a publicly accessible banned list is the possibility of a defamation lawsuit. That's why incidents aren't exposed for the public to see several times. Let's say Alex is proven not guilty in a court of law, which he will not be. He's not guilty, but he's been banned from the WCA forever. And the WCA has publicly put his name with these allegations as the reason for this ban. That opens the door to a lawsuit if he's found not guilty of that and he's still banned from the WCA. He's able to sue. If you're a person in the WCA, fix this now. We can worry about misscrambles when we don't have shady people surrounded by... When we don't have shady people who want to hurt children in the community that I love. The community that I have made a career out of recruiting people to come and join the community because it's fun, it's positive. There's some kind of stipulation about regions in the WCA not being defined enough to constitute bans, something like that. I don't know exactly. But I do know that the code of conduct for the WCA is grossly outdated. Officials need to make this priority number one and get started on this as soon as possible. Some of them are already doing so, and I applaud the ones who are actively doing this. I think you need all hands on deck. Children are getting hurt. That needs to be fixed. WCA and officials, everybody, thank you for all that you've done for the cubing community. You need to ban pedophiles from Rubik's Cube competitions that children go to. There's plenty of evidence for both Rumen and Alex. Their name should be blacklisted from the site forever. Start protecting children. Do the right thing. And this last message is to Alex. If you ever get out of prison, if you somehow get a lawyer to Saul Goodman, Slippin' Jimmy, whatever, his way into you being released while you're still breathing, and you decide to come to a WCA competition, you need to pray to God for forgiveness, because I'm not going to give it to you. Don't ever let me catch you at a WCA competition again if you don't die in prison.